Today we're continuing the ongoing series of my comic collection. Uh, it's part 9, and we are looking at comics from 1955.
Comic Book Thursday, it's high noon. Stacks of tales filling the room. Cheap collectors gonna swoon, spending dimes like there's no gloom. Spidey swinging through the air, Batman's brooding without care. Superman has perfect hair, Krypton tales rare and fair. Comic books and rock and roll, Thursday's magic takes its toll. Pages turn, hearts grow whole. In this world, we'll lose control. Captain America's proud and true. X-Men fighting out of view. Flash is bolting, who knew who? Wonder Woman's lasso's new. Comic books and rock and roll, Thursday's magic takes its toll. Pages turn, hearts grow whole. In this world, we'll lose control. Secret wars and love affairs, every page a world to share. High noon, it's time to dare. Heroes, villains, everywhere. Comic books and rock and roll, Thursday's magic takes its toll. Pages turn, hearts grow whole. In this world, we lose control. Secret wars and love affairs, every page a world to share. High noon, it's time to dare. Heroes, villains, everywhere. Comic books and rock and roll, Thursday's magic takes its toll. Pages turn, hearts grow whole. In this world, we lose control. Comic books and rock and roll, Thursday's magic takes its toll. Pages turn, hearts grow whole. In this world, we lose control. Comic books and rock and roll, Thursday's magic takes.
There you are. Sorry about that little delay there. I was thinking about something. Yeah, today we're looking at my comic books from 1955. Last week we basically got through one full short box of my collection, but I have 132 short boxes in my collection, so it's going to be quite a while. And of course, I'm getting more comics all the time. It's going to be quite a while before we get through the whole series. So possibly as much as 2 years if I only do one short box a week. But it should get faster as the list grows, as we add to the list and get the information for each series in there. Then when I have issues later, as you've seen, then I don't need to put that information in there again, just the number of the books. So hopefully things will speed up as we go faster. We are doing an entire year again today, 1955. It's a little bit of a stack. And of course, eventually we'll have multiple episodes for a year because there's years. I think if you're not familiar with the channel, I also show books on Crazy Hungarian's show on Friday night and Metarog's show Tuesday evenings. So, and I've been showing those by year as well. And I think we're up to like 1975, somewhere in there. And like that year's books goes longer than a short box, right? So there definitely will be, at some point, there will be years that I'll have a part 1, part 2, possibly even part 3, part 4, part 5. I don't know. But it's going to be a journey. So thanks for sticking with it. Thanks for being here and watching. I appreciate that very much. And I'm going to switch over to the other camera. Here we go. All right, here we go. Book number 1, 1955, The Black Knight, number 1. Of course, this is, of course, a facsimile, and I do store my facsimiles as if they were the real thing. Uh, and that's, of course, a matter of preference, you know. One of the things I liked, I think I pointed out in an earlier episode, was the Archie facsimiles. They're actually doing them as a series with numbering. So it's like Archie facsimiles series number 1, number 2, number 3, even though it's, you know, individual issues of different series. So that's kind of cool. All right. I got Grand Comics database pulled up here. Looks like it's working today. Black Knight 1 through 5, 1955 to 1956, that series ran. And this is number 1F. F for facsimile. So that's cool. A little bit of a sticker stuck on the back there. Should get that off. And then we have something called Buster Bear. Didn't even remember I had something called Buster Bear. Let's see, there was, looks like Quality Comics did Buster Bear from 1953 to 1955, and then there were some IDW Super Comics reprints in the 60s. This is one I laminated the covers on. 1955, so this was a Quality Comics publication. It's funny, and it says quality. Yeah, it's got the quality logo on the top, but it's actually in the small print here. It says Arnold Publications. I don't know a whole lot about quality, so maybe they had different uh, publisher names, like 10,000 different publisher names, just like Marvel did back in the 50s when they were doing the Atlas comics. They were using the Atlas logo, and but if you look in the small print, everything was basically published by a different publishing company. All right, Buster Bear, Quality Comics. Is this my first quality? I think it is. Went from 1953 to 1955. And 10 issues, which were numbered 1 through 10. So, okay. So this was number 9, right? The second to last issue. And we have Cowboy Western, Charlton publication. Cool cover. Got a signature down here of Stan Campbell. Not familiar with that name, but pretty cool cover. All right. It's like Charlton had a few different versions of Cowboy Western. They had Cowboy Western comics from 1948 to 1952, and then this is from 55, so it is Cowboy Western, which I guess continued the numbering from that first series. And this was from 1954 to 1958. And since it continued the numbering, it started with number 48 and went to number 67. And this is 57. And a Donald Duck. My favorite. Funny animal. Number 41. This one is. Covered the years and such in an earlier episode, so I just got to print the numbers in on these. Here's number 43. It's got Dell's important pledge to comics inside the front cover. Donald Duck Beach Party. Number 2. This could use a better bag, though. Nice painted cover. This one's in pretty decent shape. Because it's a new bag. I don't use tape. I just fold the bags in. But sometimes when they're new bags, they don't want to stay in there. You can use a ruler or something flat to just kind of get them to stay flat in there and stay down. Down, boy, down. And here's a series I never thought I'd get on the cheap. Famous Funnies. Highly, highly, highly collectible. Famous Funnies for a long time was considered the first modern day ongoing comic book. Not actually quite true. Dell actually did a comic in the 1920s, but it was done kind of in the format of a newspaper section. But you got to understand that the newspaper sections were back then were quite different than the newspaper sections we have today. And so for a long time, that wasn't really considered the first ongoing comic, but it actually is. So Famous Funnies actually started way back in 1934. They had a couple one-shots before they did the ongoing. series, I think. They had like Funnies on Parade and stuff like that. The ongoing started in 1934, went to 1955. So this would have been one of the last issues. And it had 218 issues altogether. And oh, this is the last issue, number 218. Very cool. And we get into the four colors. $623 is Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Just called Oswald the Rabbit on comics, I guess. And nothing like the Disney version. Walt Disney's True Life Adventures Beaver Valley, number 625. So wait, this is 623. I misread that. 623, not 633. And we have a Goofy issue. For some reason, Goofy never graduated to his own series back when Dell was publishing. They didn't really give him anything except Super Goof once they came up with that concept. I guess he was always just looked at as Mickey's sidekick pretty much, except for these four color issues. Lone Ranger, great cover on that one. This is not a four color, this is number 86. And we got Marge's Little Lulu, number 87. And Lassie, number 20. Nice painted cover on the Lassie books. Gonna stick that in a different spot here because I'm going by the name Lassie instead of MGM's Lassie. This one's got some schmutz on it. Let me see if I can clean that off. Now that I have a few more tools than I used to. Looks like maybe glue or something that got on there. And since it's white, we'll try and get the rest of off of the white part anyway, or at least some of it. Still got a couple little yellow spots, but it looks pretty good. At least it got whatever the Oh, it's actually a glass ring. You can see it on the inside, but not sure why there was chunky stuff on it then. Oh well, chunky stuff. And another beautiful Dell Giant Mickey Mouse Club Parade. I think this was the only issue of this, but I'll have to check to be sure. Yep, only one issue. Nice. Alright, and I think this is a wraparound cover, if I remember. Nope, they just kind of did a different version of the illustration there. Who's the leader of the club? La, 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 la. Got some rips in the first few pages there, but good stuff in here. And you know what? This bag has seen better days. As long as I got all these bags sitting here, I might as well take advantage and use them. And we got Walter Lantz New Funnies, which we are now listing as Walter Lantz New Funnies. I used to have them listed as just New Funnies, but was basically listing the same series in two different places. So we're gonna there's number 222. The other one was 217. So we are going to switch those out to a different spot in the system. Another Dow Giant Picnic Party. And this was an annual. Have to look that one up. This had lists 3 issues, number 6, 7, and 8. But it doesn't say what the numbering was continued from, which it usually did on the Dell Giants, or on Grand Comics database. Are usually really good about that information. So, all right. Well, it went from 1955, 1957. So this is actually the first issue with this title. I'm guessing previously it was called like maybe Mickey Mouse's Picnic Party or something like that. Here's a Porky Pig number 38. And it looks like this is one of those early ones where I was mistakenly thinking I could use library archive tape to tape it where it needed to, thinking it wouldn't discolor. But what it does is it reacts to the acid in the paper and it still discolors, like not as badly as regular tape would, but it does still do it. So don't do what I did. It doesn't quite work. But I wanted to try and get this 25 off, and I don't think we were doing that back then. And I think that'll come off. Yep. Presto Vanisho. Good stuff. Absurine. Silly Putty's modern cousin, I think. And okay, I'm having a little trouble getting that in there because it's actually disconnected from the comic. The cover's disconnected. There we go. Rex Allen. Ooh, don't he dress fancy? Let's see. This is my first Rex Allen. Probably my only Rex Allen. Wouldn't be surprised. From Dell Comics. And one issue of 4-color before they gave him his own series. Went from 1951 to 1958. So started with number 2, went to 31, and don't have a sticker on this one. Got a sticker down here that says 1955 number 17, which is probably correct. Yep. Does have some water damage a little bit. And yet another Disney Dell giant, Silly Symphonies. This was an interesting series because it always had stuff other than the main characters, basically. Would do like Cinderella's stories and stuff like that. You can see this one's got Pinocchio, Jiminy Cricket, Bucky Bug, Cinderella, little Hiawatha on the cover, Seven Dwarfs and Dumbo and Pluto on the back. So just a really kind of a variety of stories that weren't Mickey and Donald. And all the Dell Giants were like 100 pagers. Just fun books to collect. Silly Symphonies went 1952 to 1959 and had 9 issues. And they did sneak Mickey and Donald and stuff in there when they could. Sometimes they do like a cartoon adaptation or something. This is number 5. So I don't know if I have more books in this stack or if it's just bigger because of all the Dell 100 pagers that are in there. Here's another Tom and Jerry, number 135. And I'm going to switch these piles because they're getting a shadow from the pile growing large here. Tom and Jerry using the mixer to do their laundry. Here's a couple more. 136 and 137. I actually have 3 in a row. That's unusual. Oh, 130. This one's got a little writing up there that might come off with the adversary. Can't tell if that's come off with that or not. But we will give it the old college try. Yeah, it is coming. It's just taking a bit more than is usual. Cool. And then we get into Walt Disney's comics and stories. We got, starting off, number 173. A pretty inventive gag there with them cutting off the glove fingers to make balloons. Is a fun one. Number 180. I do have it marked as damaged. I think just because it's quite heavily ripped up around the edges. 180. And then we got 183. And then we have Walter Lantz New Funnies. So, like I said, I would confuse myself and put them in 2 different places. So, trying to stay consistent here. And this is number 219. We showed 217 earlier. 219. Here is 220. And then number 222 that we showed earlier. And this one actually has 25 on there too that might come off. Yes, sir. Gotta love all those old marker pens that had the right kind of ink that would just come off like that. Here we got some woody woodpeckers. This is number 30. Cat ate his fish. And we tuck that bag in there. This is number 31. We might have used that in my fishing video, I'm not sure. I remember it was one of the ones I thought about. Yeah, I think that 25 will come off as well. I wonder what the 25 is for. Were they reselling them for 25 cents? Or no, that one doesn't want to come off as much. It's still showing up there. Some of it came off, but it is still on there. And here's, looks like Woody and Buzz are eating at the diner together. That's nice. This one's number 32. So I got 30, 32, which means one of these should be in the same bag. Which one will it be? Let's see, the April, May. So they were doing December, January. So it would have been February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So these two go together, which this one didn't have a sticker on it anyway. Because we are storing them back to back to save room. Although if I do move the collection out to the garage, that won't be quite as much of an issue, but it's still kind of nice to just be consistent. Let's see, that is the end of this stack. Let me see if we had any from 1955 that we need to file in there. I think we had a couple. Yep. Had a 4-color Little People and a Sad Sack. So go through them again, get them in the right order here. Sad Sack. And we have 4-color 633. So it's gonna go right here. Really like this goofy drawing. It's a little off model, but in the 50s they kind of experimented with the look of the characters a little bit, so it might not have been off that far. Famous Funnies, definitely the pride and joy of this year, although I love having all these older Disney comics too. Who am I kidding? I love all of them, but it's really, I feel lucky to have that Famous Funnies. All right, got through another one. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow we'll try and do 1956. Woohoo! See you soon.
trumpets shout and the trombone glide. I found my crew on this crazy ride. Turns his wounds wail like a midnight train. Thank you, super friends, you keep me sane. Oh, thank you, super friends. You've got my back through the twists and bends, in a world that spins and never ends. Thank you, super friends. The drummer kicks with a thunderous beat. We march together, no retreat. The bass walks steady, the piano plays. You light my nights and brighten my days. Through storms and sun, through highs and lows, you're the rhythm that my heartbeat knows. We're a symphony, a jazzy blend. Forever grateful, my super friends. Oh, thank you, super friends. You got my back through the twists and bends, in a world that spins and never ends. Thank you, super friends. The band plays on, the spotlight gleams. We're chasing dreams, we're building schemes.